All right, hi guys. I'm here to give you an update on the axolotls. I've been getting a little bit of grief for not updating you every day like I was, and to tell you the truth, the reason I'm not is it's just not as exciting for me anymore. Basically, it's become a huge chore. It's feeding and cleaning and feeding and cleaning every single day, and it's just not as fun as it was. But here's your update. The babies are growing. We have roughly, I'm gonna say 200 babies now because I found a really cool guy who lives in E-Town and took half of them off of my hands. So as they're getting bigger, they're eating more and they're just harder to keep up with. So he's taking care of half of the clutch. And so I've got these babies left over, and I'll kind of give you an update on what they are. They're getting big. We have different colors. You can see there's an albino and what could be a Lucy, I'm not sure. Wild types, or I think they call them xanthic. We've got melanoids. They're not quite black yet, but they will get that way. I would say about 80% of them have front legs now, and some of them are starting to sprout little hind legs. Now these guys, these are the big ones. These are the big ones. They're the first dayers. They've been growing really good. But as you go through, we've got some smaller ones as well. Look how dirty that water is, and I just cleaned it 100%. So that's basically what I'm dealing with. It's a mess. It's a mess. They're messy, messy, messy creatures. There's a cute one that might turn out to be a Lucy. Not sure though, because they definitely have some speckled color to them. And it just keeps going and going and going. Lots of babies, and this is only half of them. So here's your update. Here's Squishy. I know it's the one we talk about all the time. Squishy's still the biggest, and if you can see right under the tail, there's a little light flap area. That is going to be his legs. His legs someday. I don't know if you can see his arms. Can't really tell what you can see, but he's got little feet under his gills. And there's the twins. We've got an albino and a wild type, but those are the twins. Here we've got Joe, still kicking. This is a little guy who just got separated. It looks like he's eating, but he's just not thriving like I would like him to thrive. He's moving around, but so I separated him, put him with Joe and this little guy who looks a lot like Joe, but Scout hasn't named him. This is the one she's really attached to, Joe, which could be a little Lucy, but obviously something's not quite right with Joe. And there we go. So this is what you guys got. Lots of little babies. Lots of babies. So what I'm gonna do now is like I said, I've cleaned their little enclosures. I have, but I haven't fed them yet, and they're hungry. I can tell they're darting around. They're waiting for their food. I think that they've kind of gotten used to the system of things, and they know when they're going to be fed. So I'm going to do something a little bit different today. I'm actually going to feed them bloodworms first, so you can kind of see. So you can see what to expect when you guys are feeding. So these are the bloodworms. They come in little frozen cubes, and I actually just thaw them in some warm water, then I rinse them out with their fresh water, and then I suck them up in this little thing, and then I feed them. So I'm gonna feed the big guys first, and you can kind of see what they do. So I'll put some in there. And hopefully we'll see, I'm putting them in all around too, so hopefully we'll get to see somebody eating. Sometimes I just kind of spin them around and get them moving because they like, they like to eat live. So watch them not eat, but I have seen them eat. The bloodworms. I'm being real quiet. I don't think they can hear me really. Come on. Let's see, maybe one of the others will eat. Let's see, this is why I'm not rushing to give them to their new homes yet, because they're still, oh, we got one eating. They're still just adjusting, and look, you can see it go right down inside her body. Isn't that crazy? You can see it up in her head. She's eating that whole worm. We got another one eating. Oh, and then back to this guy who I was trying to get to eat for you. Ate while we weren't looking at him. He's got a little worm sticking out of his mouth. Vicious, vicious little creatures. Vicious, vicious. So, they're eating the bloodworms. Now you can see this one has a bloodworm. Her whole head is red. She's getting that down. So, and they basically can eat anything that's not wider than what's between their eyes. That's kind of a general rule for lizards and amphibians. If it can fit between their eyes, they can handle it. So I'm giving everybody a little bit of bloodworms. Now, like I said, some of them probably have never eaten a bloodworm. Some of them are still eating the brine shrimp only, and that's okay. They kind of do this on their own, in their own pace. So, but they are, and that's what you'll have to do. Now, when you adopt an axolotl, you'll probably only have one. Some of you are wanting two. So you're not gonna need a whole bloodworm cube. Like, I actually have dissolved 2 cubes, but you're not gonna want to do a whole cube, and they come in little frozen cubes. So you'll probably want to cut off a little piece of it before you thaw, so you're not wasting a whole lot, because each one will eat. At this age, I think they're only eating 1 worm, maybe 2. So, but they're all, well, not all, but a lot of them are starting to eat the bloodworms, and some of them are just not showing any interest. So for them, I have my brine shrimp too. I'll show you that again. I know you've seen this already, but here's harvested brine shrimp. You can see the eggs floating on top, but I just kind of suck the live brine shrimp from the bottom so I don't get many eggs in their containers. So, and they still love the brine shrimp. They're still eating a bunch of brine shrimp. So more and more I've been having to harvest more and more brine shrimp as they've been growing. So, but I would say soon they'll be going to new homes. And another thing is, I know a lot of you have been telling me that you want a baby or 2. And here's the thing, I can't remember. I can't remember who has said that they want 1 or 2. I can't remember who I've given them to. I've had a lot of people contact me. So this is your update, also telling you where we're going and about what time you're going to be able to get them. I'm going to say next week I'll feel pretty comfortable with distributing some of these babies because they'll have had some bloodworms, and it's hard for me to give them to you all knowing that they're not going to get any brine shrimp anymore, and I know that that's been their staple diet since birth, so I don't want them to have to go without the brine shrimp. Sorry, you guys, I'm not in frame anymore because I'm dealing with this, but since I know that they're going to have to be going without the brine shrimp, I'm a little bit cautious about giving them. I want to show you something though. You can see one of the wild types head. Where is it? Look at this guy. You can see the bloodworm in his head too, which is kind of cool because you would think he's colored. I don't know if you can see it like I can see it, but it makes him look really cool. Look all red. He's chomping it down. Another thing, let's see what we got here. See these two guys laying on their side? Oh, you know what they're doing? They are fighting over a bloodworm. They're fighting over it. It's like Lady and the Tramp. Oh, I've never seen that. Let go. Oh, that's crazy. Huh. Well, I don't know what to do about that. I guess they're gonna have to work that out. But here's another one eating. Chomping. So I think they're liking the bloodworms. We still got a lot eating the brine shrimp though too, so just kind of let them slowly adjust. Look at, they're still fighting. Huh. That's kind of funny. Let's see. What else we got one right there. They just look too big for them to eat. These guys have eaten a lot of their bloodworms. So I think the bigger ones will be the first to go. So I think that they handle the bloodworms pretty well. So when you get these little babies, I would still feed them twice a day. I've been doing like 9 a.m., 9 p.m. feeding times for the most part. Sometimes I get home a little late. You can tell they're super hungry. I'm trying to look for one floating because I know I've had a couple people who've already gotten them. They're feeding them brine shrimp. And I've had a couple of them who've already gotten them concerned when they see them floating. They think that they're dead or dying. And they do that sometimes. And I'm not sure why, but sometimes they'll get air bubbles in their bellies and then they'll just go belly up at the top and you would think, oh, look it, they're still fighting over that. I wish I could break that up and I really don't know how to do that. Huh. It's crazy. But, what was I saying? This one's really crowded. I need to split them up. As they get bigger, I keep splitting them farther and farther. But in the next couple days, I'm going to work on splitting them all into their own, especially the bigger ones, getting them into their own tanks. We haven't had any cannibalism yet, but like I said, we're getting close now. A lot of them have front legs and are growing back legs. So there you go, guys. There's your update. I'll make another post probably next Sunday. And they're still fighting. Huh. But I'll make another post next Sunday, and I'll find out who wants to pick up what and where. Oh, let me tell you. So when you tell me what you want to pick up, you're going to have a couple different options. So if you look at my two fighters here, they look very, very similar, except one of them has black eyes and one of them has like the copper eyes. So one is a albino, the one with no black eyes. That's an albino, and that is going to grow up to look like Valentine, our big one. She'll be white with big fluffy pink gills. The other is questionable, because if you look at that one and the one right here above it, those look very similar. They have these little freckles. Oh, they are free from each other. I wonder who won that. But this one appears to have more freckles. So I don't know, they could be dirty Lucy's, or they could get super dark one day and turn into those. And those could actually get even darker and turn black. They change so much. So you're really getting kind of a grab bag type thing here. I'm almost positive that that is a melanoid, like the dad. See, there's no stripes or blotches, but still a little bit gray, but more muted and solid. I really think that that's going to grow up to be a solid black one, like the dad. This one I'm not sure about, and this one. So we have basically those four types, and then they come in different variations of those four types. So if you're one, I know that the albinos are a big popular one. Like, it seems like everybody wants the white with the pink gills, and we have about half of them are albino. So we have plenty of those to go around, but we also have the melanoids, and we also have those wild types that we just don't know what are going to grow into. So see, that one's a really light one, but I really think that that'll grow into being a black melanoid, because he's just softly muted and not stripy. And another thing is, as they're growing, when they're still juveniles, like when they get to be big enough to add substrate to the bottom, or you can put them on, if they have a glass bottom, if you put a dark bottom under them, the melanoids will get even darker. And if you put a white bottom under them, they'll stay really light. So that's a melanoid right there. But it'll stay really light and like grayish. And if you put a dark bottom under it, it'll get darker. So they kind of transform to their bottoms, is to help them camouflage. You can see the bigger ones, they changing a little bit. They're kind of losing their spots though, so that makes me think that they might end up being Lucy's, which looks like it looks like Valentine with black eyes. And that's a really popular thing. People want the Lucy's because a lot of people are kind of turned off by the albino lack of eyes, but I think they're cute. I like the copper shiny eyes too. But see, there's one right there, and that one has a lot of speckles, so that could end up turning into even that later on. So it's up to you what you want to do, but there are no guarantees on what you're going to get. Some of them still have a really yellowish tint to them too. So there's 3 of the versions there. We have a wild type, a melanoid, and an albino. And there's the other, the who knows what it's gonna be. Or axanthic was the other one too. That could be an axanthic one. So, fun. But look forward to the next post, and I'll, next Sunday, if you are wanting to pick up a baby at one of my classes next week, I'll be in Vine Grove at Otter Creek Tavern, and I'll also be at Flywheel Brewing in E-Town on Wednesday. So just let me know. Take care, guys.